Despite being somewhat overshadowed by its console counterpart, PC Game Pass remains an excellent choice for those who prefer gaming on a computer rather than an Xbox. Therefore, we have compiled a list of the best games currently available on Game Pass for PC. Starting with Warhammer 40K Darktide. Fans of the Warhammer Vermintide series will undoubtedly be eager to experience Warhammer 40K Darktide. This game takes the core concepts from previous titles and elevates the action to new heights. In Darktide, players embark on a fresh story arc, assuming the roles of prisoners who are compelled to clear out enemy-infested zones and fulfill tasks assigned by their captors. The gameplay mechanics closely resemble Vermintide, where players team up cooperatively to tackle missions, battling against swarms of bloodthirsty creatures and formidable bosses. Darktide offers an array of unlockable weapons and a diverse roster of playable characters. It presents the perfect opportunity for FPS enthusiasts to indulge their craving for intense slashing and shooting as they confront countless enemies. Number 19 is Weird West, an isometric RPG set in a supernatural-themed take on the American frontier. This unique game guides players through 5 distinct storylines, each featuring a new protagonist introduced when the player jumps into their bodies. The narrative is compelling, with each storyline successfully setting itself apart from the others. The game boasts solid writing and a memorable roster of characters, making it stand out. Weird West offers intense shootouts, resembling a slow-paced twin-stick shooter. While it may feel overwhelming at times, this game gets a lot of things right and offers something that is quite unlike anything else on PC Game Pass. Number 18 is Psychonauts 2. 16 years might seem too long to wait for a proper sequel, but that doesn't make the result any less satisfying to experience. Psychonauts 2 hits with all the vibrance and zany third-person action platforming madness that solidified the original as a cult classic. Players once again control Raz Aquato as he continues to climb the ranks of the legendary Psychonauts. A new villain has arisen to plague the minds of everyone's favorite psychics, but the familiar mechanics of the original game are back with greater polish. It's fantastic to see a Psychonauts sequel that still carries the heart and charm of the original. Number 17 is Wasteland 3. All 3 Wasteland games are available on Xbox Game Pass, and each one improves on the last. Wasteland 3 is a challenging strategy turn-based RPG reminiscent of classic Fallout titles, and it comes with a dark sense of humor and a desire to constantly challenge players with difficult decisions. A deep and flexible combat system should keep the game feeling fresh throughout its considerable length, while Wasteland 3's story and world building are second to none. Co-op is also possible for those who want to travel through Colorado with a friend. The turn-based action and the sheer depth of RPG mechanics are sure to satisfy any longtime fan of the genre. Number 16 is Insurgency Sandstorm, a gritty and intense first-person shooter that offers a realistic and immersive combat experience. Set in modern-day conflicts, players are drawn into the chaos of asymmetric warfare, with one team playing as insurgents and the other as security forces. The game emphasizes tactical gameplay, teamwork, and strategic coordination. With its detailed weapon handling, challenging environments, and visceral gunfights, Insurgency Sandstorm is a thrilling and authentic FPS that captures the intensity of real-world combat, and it's one of the best games available on PC Game Pass. Number 15 is Guilty Gear Strive, one of the best fighting games on Game Pass. It strikes a perfect balance between deep mechanics and accessibility for newcomers to the genre. While the campaign is minimal, there are plenty of ways to enjoy the game, including hosting matches with friends, practicing moves solo, and participating in multiplayer offerings like the Tower. With a decent roster of characters to experiment with, you'll find your favorite and master their combos for some unforgettable fights. While there's no perfect fighting game, Guilty Gear Strive comes pretty close. Number 14 is Gears Tactics. Fans of turn-based strategy games like XCOM or Fire Emblem might scoff at the idea of the action-packed Gears of War franchise being turned into a tactics game, but the result is an impressive first foray into the genre. Gears has always been about player positioning and coordinated strikes. The translation to a top-down strategy game is remarkably seamless. Strategy game fans who have never touched a Gears title before should absolutely make the time to try out Gears Tactics. The game strikes an impressive balance in its complexity. Newcomers to the turn-based strategy genre won't feel overwhelmed, but veterans will be pleasantly surprised by some of the very specific tweaks and customizations offered. Number 13 is Amnesia: The Bunker. Amnesia: The Dark Descent is well known for putting the indie horror scene on the map. It's shown a limelight on the creativity that flourishes in indie spaces, especially when it came to scaring the living daylights out of players. After several sequels that did not reach the same heights of notoriety as the original, The Bunker is here to reclaim the horror-inducing crown the series deserves. Deviating from the typical narrative-driven gameplay of all its predecessors, The Bunker almost feels like a horror roguelike, as it creates a manual save system that sees you managing resources you collect on your runs throughout the bunker. Set during the trench warfare of World War I, a monster stalks a head-wounded so conveniently amnesiac soldier through the darkened, echoing tunnels of an underground bunker. Your objective is to escape, but every step you take runs the risk of drawing the deformed creature to your position. The Bunker breathes fresh air into the series, so if you're a horror fan and want to explore the best terrifying titles available on Xbox Game Pass, it should be your first stop. Number 12 is Microsoft Flight Simulator. The gorgeous vistas of the world are reason enough to give Microsoft Flight Simulator a try, as they truly flex the capabilities of Microsoft's latest generation of Xbox consoles. However, in addition to the beautiful rendering of the entire planet, the game also gives players an opportunity to test out piloting skills thanks to its intuitive simulated aircraft controls. A variety of realistically rendered airplanes are at your piloting disposal, replete with interactive features and instruments that lend a deep sense of immersion to this already stunning simulation title. Take to the sky under a variety of weather and environmental conditions and earn your wings in the way of your choosing. Number 11 is Planet of Lana. Released in May 2023 and debuting directly on Game Pass, Planet of Lana is a story-driven platformer titled after its protagonist. With her home under siege by aliens, Lana teams up with a cute mascot to save her planet, a process that involves visiting a variety of gorgeous locations while trying to avoid the enemy's gaze. Moving at a deliberately slow pace, Planet of Lana focuses on its story, atmosphere, and puzzles, to the point the game might not hit the mark with a player if they go in expecting a traditional 2D platformer. While its gameplay is nothing particularly special, the title tells an engaging narrative headlined by memorable characters and enhanced by impressive visuals. Planet of Lana can be completed within a weekend, which is about the right time investment for this style of project. If you're enjoying this video so far, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Number 10 is Persona 5 Royal. Mechanically, it doesn't stray far from conventional JRPG elements, but it's such a flashy game. With so much style and panache, it feels remarkably modern. It goes to show how far art direction can go in making a game world come alive. The story follows a group of high school students, each with their ambitions and plots, working together to curb the wicked intentions of the surrounding adults. Despite its staggeringly long runtime, it still feels like a spoiler to go into much more detail than that. Suffice it to say, the plot of Persona 5 is gripping and rich enough to support a sequel in a completely different genre, which is no surprise considering Persona 5 is already a game that walks between genres, including RPG, social sim, and even some light adventure elements. Even with its daunting length and traditional riff on the genre, Persona 5 is an absolute must-play and a marquee release for Xbox Game Pass. Number 9 is Monster Hunter Rise. Originally a Switch exclusive, Monster Hunter Rise eventually made its way to other platforms, including PC Game Pass. People familiar with Capcom's franchise will feel right at home with the 2021 release, especially if they experienced Monster Hunter World. However, Rise is still a unique beast that stands well on its own 2 feet. Opting for smaller-scale maps and missions than its predecessor, Rise trims away unnecessary elements to highlight the core appeal of Monster Hunter, which is the combat. While Rise has something of a story, it is merely there to guide players toward the end game when they can focus on grinding monsters to unlock better loot. This gameplay loop has worked for decades, and Rise is no exception. Number 8 is Dishonored 2. Building upon the success of its predecessor, Dishonored 2 takes significant strides forward on its own. Continuing the story of Corvo and Emily, who seek to reclaim the throne after a coup, Dishonored 2 offers players the choice of controlling either character, each with unique skills that enhance replayability. The game emphasizes player choice, primarily in its gameplay. Players can decide whether they want to kill everyone who stands in their way or opt for no bloodshed whatsoever, resulting in two wildly different experiences. This freedom extends to the missions themselves, which largely take place in open areas and try to avoid railroading players into a specific approach. With its captivating and immersive gameplay, the game delivers a thoroughly enjoyable experience for fans of the stealth genre, and it's for sure one of the best titles available on PC Game Pass. Number 7 is Chivalry 2. After a surprisingly thorough tutorial where the game teaches players how to expertly wield giant broadswords, players are entered into a team-based multiplayer siege or battle royale where all that training goes out the window. Chivalry captures the chaos of having 64 players with swords collide with each other and fight for survival. There's nothing else quite like it. Complete with a dedicated scream button, every player in a match is experiencing their own little piece of a loud, brutal, and sometimes silly medieval war. It can take some practice for any one player to make an impact on the larger battle, but even the most timid foot soldier will have fun laying siege to a castle. Number 6 is Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2's relatively understated presence in the FPS genre is more than a bit puzzling because it was the object of significant critical acclaim upon release, and its die-hard fan base has quietly asserted that it's handily one of the most solid shooters to have ever hit the market for years since. Frankly, they've got a lot going on to support that opinion. The game's campaign is practically as solid as its multiplayer suite, with the former weaving a compelling sci-fi narrative around pilot and training Cooper and his surly oversized robot acquaintance. Big mechs and wall-running mechanics go a long way on their own, but Respawn's take on the FPS formula just feels polished in a way that many contemporary shooters don't, and is more than partially responsible for its remarkable overnight success with Apex Legends. Number 5 is Doom Eternal. ID Software knocked 2016's Doom completely out of the park, and the developer could have simply opted to rethread the exact same ground for the sequel. Thankfully, Doom Eternal carves its own identity. While still ultimately the Doom everyone knows and loves, this entry shakes things up by emphasizing the Doom Slayer's range of motion, even including things like a grappling hook. These abilities work beautifully within combat, providing players with more options than ever before. Even with a fairly forgiving dodge function, Doom Eternal still packs a considerable punch, especially since ammo is reasonably limited. The campaign does include a few polarizing platforming and traversal sections, but they do not take much away from the overall experience. Number 4 is Civilization 6. With Civilization 7 confirmed to be in the works, this is the perfect time to jump into the previous entry in the highly acclaimed strategy franchise. As suggested by its title, Civilization revolves around leading a society from its minuscule origins to a global powerhouse. There are quite a few ways to accomplish this goal, with the game allowing players to decide whether they want to focus on military strength or other things like technology, for example. Civilization 6 is still as good in 2023 as it was on the day of its debut. While hardly lacking in mechanics or depth, the game is one of the more accessible entries in the strategy genre, making it a good pick for newcomers. Number 3 is Halo: The Master Chief Collection. The adventures of the Master Chief have never been as accessible as they are in the Master Chief Collection. This gathering of Halo games is the definitive collection of 343 Industries' endeavors to immortalize the series. From beloved campaign co-op to thrilling firefight matches to iconic multiplayer modes, the Master Chief Collection has it all. Anyone who thinks of themselves as a Halo fan should consider it a must-play from Xbox Game Pass. And for those who have never completed the Master Chief saga, there is no better way to finish the fight. Number 2 is Forza Horizon 5. The Forza Horizon franchise has always done an incredible job blending the appeal of arcade racers like Burnout with the realistic precision controls of the motorsport games. Horizon 5 is no exception, and it just so happens to be one of the best-looking games available on next-gen consoles. Like its predecessors, Horizon 5 has players exploring an open world and completing a wide variety of objectives and races. Mexico has no shortage of gorgeous locales to drive through while setting up for the Horizon Festival. Forza Horizon 5 caters to all skill levels and approaches, and with its staggering number of missions to complete, things to collect, and fast-paced gameplay, it's an experience that not only attempts many things, but also excels in all of them with a distinctive style. And finally, number 1 is Deathloop. Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda has already reaped dividends, and the arrival of Deathloop on Xbox Game Pass is yet another trophy of the deal. Xbox Series X or S owners can now play Arcane's highly stylized time loop title. Players are thrust into the confused mind of Colt as he wakes up on a beach only to realize he's been stuck on an island that is going through a recursive loop every day. Several elements of Arcane's immersive sim formula can be found in Deathloop, but a lot of them have been streamlined to make way for a PvP experience. Other players can invade your game as a character named Juliana, who is intent on preserving the loop. It's a fun title, and one that signals Arcane's willingness to experiment with the genre they are so well known for. Deathloop is a rewarding and ambitious experience, and in our opinion is the best game available on Game Pass for PC. As we reach the end of our video, we would like to thank you for joining us as we explored the best games available on PC Game Pass. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to show your support. We also value your feedback, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, happy gaming!